You must be Jen. Good idea.
Get some advice back on that.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Firstly, I applaud your move to charge short-term unhosted accommodation on the same footing as our motel, hotel and camping ground businesses. What a very odd situation we've come to when our citizens are living in motels and our visitors get to stay in our homes. So I also support stronger planning rules to discourage this and ask the council to lobby central government for more tools in this regard. Now, wastewater. I'm the chair of the Friends of Banks Peninsula. I've been actively involved with this group and the Akaroa wastewater issues for more than 30 years, so I fully understand the background and the difficulties that surround this issue. I acknowledge how hard this council and the Banks Peninsula Council before it and the community has worked to find a viable solution. I've watched the development of a land-based disposal scheme with optimism, but then with increasing dismay. The great difficulty, as you'll know, is not with the actual wastewater that comes from our homes and businesses, but with the huge infiltration of stormwater into the sewer pipe network, which of course tends to happen at the very time as the land is too wet to safely irrigate with the treated wastewater. I was a dressmaker by profession. This scheme reminds me of trying to fit a size 16 bod into a size 12 dress. If you squeeze in one bit, another will bulge out somewhere else, and the zip will probably break. So there's two options really: go on a diet or look for another dress. And so in 2020, the community was consulted about Akaroa's treated wastewater options, this one. The council's resolution, based on the hearing panel's recommendations, included reducing infiltration to 20% through work on the council's network, promotion of water conservation measures, including water meters, and investigating the irrigation of public spaces. In other words, the panel well understood that a serious weight loss program was required. However, none of these recommendations have been carried out in any meaningful way. And I'm frustrated that council staff don't explain why reducing the amount of infiltration into the pipes is considered to be so difficult. We're just told it's a problem everywhere. If we can put rockets into space, or build a stadium for that matter, why can't, you would think that building pipes that don't leak would be fairly straightforward. But as well as creating very costly problems for the wastewater scheme, the pipes are also likely to be leaking raw sewage affecting water quality around Akaroa, and they will only get worse. The volume of wastewater means that the network pump stations, treatment plant and storage capacity will regularly be overwhelmed during wet weather, resulting in overflows. And I note that this will happen in periods of wet weather, such as we had last winter, not just in extreme events. What is now proposed is very different from the consultation information that was put before the public in 2020, which did not contemplate overflows. And the council does not have any mandate from the community as to what is an acceptable overflow risk, if any. I can understand that there'll be a strong desire now to just get on and do something, but I'd like to remind you that one resource consent application has already failed in 2015, and that the price tag for this scheme now sits at $107 million. This kind of spending might be all right for a safe and resilient system which achieved the much desired aim of keeping wastewater out of our harbour and waterways, but instead what is proposed leaves our harbour further exposed to overflows as climate change exacerbates storm ferocity and frequently, and it leaves Akaroa with broken pipes that will continue to deteriorate. So it's time to very carefully consider and balance the desired benefits of this scheme with the costs and the risks. And the council's own integrated water strategy, which you put in place in 2019, actually it refers to this quite well, stating the council will make a decision on which option to pursue. It must take into account social, cultural and economic interests and must be efficient, effective and appropriate and consentable as sustainable management under the Resource Management Act. Discharge to water is not sustainable management under the RMA unless land-based options have been adequately investigated and reasonably discounted. So that's what your own strategy says. So please, you need to get really serious about a weight loss program or start looking for a different dress. Thank you, and you'll be hearing from the Friends of Banks Peninsula shortly.
Yep, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's used up all your time, but I'm sure we'll get some questions shortly. Okay, John, please.